every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Spotlight.
Do you feel like they viewer and to Spotlight here on where you look and on Spotlight we're always doing our very best to bring to you who are doing things to bring light in our community. One of the things that we will need once in a while is a person who speaks to us in a way that changes the way you think, in a way that just gives you a new perspective, and you come saying, "Oh, I never saw it like that," and that talk and that message, in a way, inspires you, and you have another lease of life. Now, sometimes we call this motivational speakers. Sometimes we call them transformational speakers. Sometimes we call them life coaches. And now on Spotlight, on this edition, we have a transformational speaker. That is Kelly Odongo Ezekiel. Now, he comes to us as a person who speaks to a lot of corporate events, a lot of learning institutions, and he is also on social media, and he tells us that his transformational ministry is a calling. You'd want to hear more about what Ezekiel Kelly Odongo has to say. He's also an author and brilliant mind, and I'm sure that at the end of this program there shall be some new skills and some new abilities that you'll gain from this conversation. Again, Ezekiel, welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome to Spotlight.
I'm grateful, sir.
Yeah, and welcome to Hope TV as well.
Thank you so much.
It's your very first time, right?
Oh, well, very first time to be hosted.
Yeah.
But I'm a member.
Oh, good, good,
Yes,
good. Welcome, welcome.
Yes.
You know, one of the interesting things that that you have mentioned is that your talks, because you talk, and we know that there are transformational speakers, we know that there are motivational speakers, we know there are coaches. It's a whole field there, you know, of life skills. And you say that your talking as a transformational speaker is a calling.
Yes.
Can you tell us how you assign your craft as a calling?
Well, I can say, you know, there was a time I was at a state where we called a quandary state. A quandary state is a state where you are confused. You don't know where to go to. Some people tell you, my friend, you can be a very good politician. Some people tell you, because I used to sing that, you know, your destiny is music. Some people tell me, you know, you're meant to be a journalist because of sometimes they would hear the way I speak. And some people tell me, you are destined to be a pastor. And some people tell you you are destined to be, a motivational speaker. So I was so confused until I got saved, until I got a mentor. Someone admired the way he spoke, and I said to myself, wow, at some point I would like to speak like this gentleman. Then I started watching a lot of people, a lot of transformational speakers, people like Dr. Miles Monroe, people like T.D. Jakes, people like John C. Maxwell and the rest, and I said, wow. People like Dr. Mike Murdock, and I said, I must follow this path. Then I started acquiring the right information. It took me long, just learning and not sharing anything.
Yeah.
Then I got to a point when I said, I think I need to start sharing what I know with people.
All right.
And of course, you're in this state where no one can give a platform. Even a primary school cannot allow you to speak to the pupils. So I said, why not? Let me start social media. Then I started with videos that would look like CCTV footage. You know them, you know those videos that I didn't even have a smartphone, so I would borrow a smartphone for someone, record myself, then I post, then I locate some 10 shillings to go to the cyber to check how many views. That's when you, in a week, you record like 20 views.
Yeah, and you know, I also know that you are a graduate of the Kenyatta University.
Yes.
And now here you are, and you are wanting to take up the area of transformational speaking.
Yes.
Is it a factor of wisdom, or is it a factor of training? Do you have some training around this, or how does it come about?
I did BCom at Kenyatta University. Now, BCom helps me because I speak in corporates. The business aspect helps me to speak in the business arenas. But now when it comes to the life skills, the transformational speaking, it is not learned anywhere. There's no classroom for that. So you become a student of life and learn by yourself.
Okay.
By the valuable books, by the mentors around, both online and physical. So it's and also understanding that it's a calling. Personally, I'm in the ministry. This is pure ministry. So the moment you know that I am calling, I am working the vineyard of God, then you now pursue it like this is a calling.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I think that's an interesting dimension that we've had many people
Yes.
in this area of life skills, but it's unique to hear you say it's a calling, right? Now, clarify for us.
Yes.
These terms, motivational speaker, transformational speaker, life coach, because you're in this industry,
Yes.
I mean, do they mean the same thing? Are they variances of the same thing, or are they different streams?
Well, I avoid the word life coach by all means. Because to me, life is so dynamic that you can't master it to the point that you can coach someone. Yes, you may have an angle that probably is unique to someone else, but calling myself a life coach, to me, I think it makes me feel like I've really mastered this thing and therefore do this, do that. But well, I'm also learning in the process. So people use it, but personally, I wouldn't want to use it. Now, I also avoid calling myself motivational speakers because of the way it has been watered down. You know, someone feels like just going through a situation qualifies you to be a motivational speaker. People view it like you don't need any skill to be a motivational speaker so long as you can speak, that's all. Well, when someone says you're a motivational speaker, it means this is someone who can make you feel good in your situation. They can pacify you to go through what you're going through without feeling bad. I agree with that. So meaning you can be motivated, you leave that place, you go back to the same situation, only that you are enduring it differently, but nothing has changed. But now I got it from a different angle, and that is why I call myself a transformational speaker, because I believe in transforming lives through words. After listening to me, I believe that someone should say, from today henceforth, I will start doing this, or from today henceforth, I will stop doing this. That is why I made up my mind that anytime I'm speaking, I believe that someone's life is getting transformed, and by the grace of God, that has been the feedback.
Okay.
Yes.
The area of transformation, Kelly, is a critical area in life
Yes.
because many people are unhappy
Yes.
about who they are,
Yes.
and but they don't know
Yes.
how to move from where they are. They can actually see where they want to go,
Yes.
but they don't know what the steps are, right? They don't know what the science is. They don't know what, I mean, the logistics are. I want to move from a place where I am a person who does things on average. I want to be an excellent person, but or I want to be a person who is useful. I feel that I just think my life is not so impactful. I want to be an impactful person. And then also sometimes you want to just change your own habits. You're trapped in a habit that you can tell is stagnating you. And you can see where you want the freedom you want to gain, but you don't know the steps to get there. Now, can you maybe help the viewer who is really wanting to transform but doesn't know how?
You know, first of all, for you to feel like that, it means there's a seed that wants to grow out of you. There are many people who don't feel like that. So for you to feel that burning desire, that enthusiasm, that zest inside, that you don't know how it would come out, it means God has planted a seed in you. And all you need is just an avenue for that seed to begin manifesting. Now, number one thing that I believe in is, first of all, really praying that God should give you a revelation on how to do it. The first thing God will do is to bring for you people around you. There are people that you will see and you'd want to be like them. I got in that. Now, keep learning from them. You know, in every destiny, there's a time that comes with the generality, where you don't have a clear niche. Even men of God, even pastors, you discover, yes, he's a man of God, yes, but you discover he's more inclined in a certain area. I'll get in that. So that clear direction, that path comes in the process. But in the meantime, begin doing what is available, what you can do that time. It's like climbing the stairs. You can't see the stairs on the 6th floor. You have to begin on the ground floor. So what I would tell people, don't wait until you get it clearly. Begin doing something, even if it appears like you're not doing something very excellent. You see, as you wait to be perfect to begin, others are making mistakes and becoming perfect in the process. So the moment you have that idea, any idea that comes, something that you can do with who you are, begin doing in that process. But you see, many times people like giving excuse. That you see, I feel like doing this, but I don't have this, I don't have resources, I don't have this, this, and that. Now, if you look at what you have discovered that you have yourself, and in that vision, there is something that does not need money that you can just do by yourself. Why are you not doing it? You just play your part so that it remains that I've done my part. The only thing that is now stopping me from here is this other side, and it will come to pass. Now, just to bring it, relate it with what I've been doing. Now, there was a time I would have a very logical, a very cogent excuse not to do what I do because I don't have a phone in the first place. And second to that, I need to give quality. I need to show people quality. So I don't have money to hire videographers. Then I said to myself, even if my videos will be recorded with Kabambe, I will do it if Kabambe can record something. And my videos that went viral were, you would see real mediocrity, but people overlooked the quality of the videos and concentrated on the content, and that's how they went global. Yes.
All right. And those are important insights.
Yes.
And it sounds like you've had also a difficult story. From some of the things that you've mentioned here, you sound like you've also experienced your own transformation. Tell us just a little bit about just your own story and how you've arrived where you are at, because it sounds like you've struggled.
I've struggled. In the first place, from my father's side, no one has bald head. From my mother's side, no one has bald head. But I'm hereby having this hair is kind of disappearing from this age. And I believe it was because of the stress that I went through. I started to Google what can sometimes cause this kind of a thing. Then I discovered that the major thing is gene. Then the other aspect I saw, whether it is true or not, I read from Google. Google told me that high voltage stress can also cause bald heads. I don't know, but I believe mine was caused by that. Stress removed the hair from my head. I have been, a very good percentage of my life was a very depressed and a stressed life, and not because of any other thing, but because of poverty. You see, I was brought up by a grandmother because my mother separated with my father. They divorced when she was 7 months pregnant of me. So she went and gave birth to me when I was not yet mature in the womb, around 7 months. And because of the Luo community, when the man has paid dowry, then he has the right to collect children. And so my father collected me, brought me, and I was raised by my grandmother. And of course, my grandmother was doing nothing except to go and dig for people in the garden and get food for us. And sometimes she would carry me to the garden and just put up some structure, shade-like structure. So I would stay in the structure. She's digging, giving me porridge there, and we go back home. I started buying my clothes in class 3. And of course, struggles left at center through schools, up and down, and the rest. And by the grace of God, to cut the story short, I got myself to Kenyatta University, where I did BCom. And of course, at KU, I called off semesters many times because of school fee. And KU, I suffered hunger. I remember there's a point in my life, I went with nothing for 4 consecutive days until I had to support myself on the wall while going for a short call, because if I don't support myself, I would literally fall down because I'd grown feeble because of hunger. So I interacted with poverty one-on-one. I had a one-on-one interaction with poverty for quite a high percentage of my life.
You should not be laughing, but the way you are putting it is...
So even after
having a one-on-one with poverty. Okay.
That was one-on-one interaction, communion.
I like... Good that you can laugh about it now. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. And even when I started doing my talks, when I started doing the the inspirational talks, you'd look at my video and you see real poverty. It was too obvious that I was struggling. My video that went on viral, that went viral, the video on anger, where I used the 2 bottles of Coca-Cola.
We'll talk about that shortly.
Okay, fine. We'll talk about that. Of course, I borrowed the sodas and paid later. You look at my hair, I didn't have the money to shave. So I went through a lot when it comes to struggling. And you see, this kind of job that I do was not able to pay instantly. So I went through a lot of time before people had the confidence to even trust me with their audience and even pay me something. So it took me time to taste money out of this.
Okay.
Yes.
You know, sometimes we also say like God has a sense of humor because you struggled a lot.
Yes.
But now you are planted right in that same place.
Yes.
To help others.
Exactly.
Who are in struggle. So you have been planted back to the very difficult place where you were to help others out, you know, which is an interesting thing. And talking about now your, CCTV footage kind of videos.
Yes.
And when one of them went viral, how did you explain that? Is it something you expected? Is it something that, surprised you? And I mean, how did you take it?
Before I answer that, when you say God, God is kind of humorous or something, God has a sense of humor. You see, sometimes God takes you through the experience of the people you'd want to help in future. So when you meet them, you have felt what they're feeling. So you can feel, you can be empathetic, you can feel for them. So I went through that. When someone tells me he's going to sleep hungry, I may not have the money to give the person, but I've tasted hunger before. So, of course, don't worry. My name is also Ezekiel, the prophet of the dry bone, bringing life out of dry bone. That is that.
If we put it in the contemporary world.
Yes, in the contemporary world.
We may also wonder, Ezekiel, prophet, Ezekiel. Anyway, yes.
Now, on the aspect of this video, now this video goes viral. I wake up in the morning and unfortunately, this video did not go viral on my page. People downloaded it and it went viral on their pages. It had more than 6 million views in Nigeria. It had more than 5 million views in Qatar. Okay. It had more than, millions of views, even in the UK. So people would just send me the link to see how my video is going viral somewhere else. It would have lifted my page. But I can tell you, God is a God of process. God will show you where you are destined to be there. But don't worry, just relax, you'll get there. If God microwaved me to that point, probably I would be a different person. He had to take me through the struggle in order to develop my tenacity, so that when I get there, I'm able to hold it well because I grew up, I did not jump up. You see, when you grow up, you stay up. But when you jump up, you're destined to come down. So here my video is going viral. And people are calling you from the village that we are seeing your videos left, right, center. And people associate this with wealth. So they of course. Yes, so when they see you
can't blame
viral,
them.
And
they see you're famous.
You see, my video is going viral and I'm sleeping hungry. My video is going viral and my house is being locked. And that happened a number of times. There were a number of years that my house was being locked subsequently. That was the norm. I was just in 3 houses where the landlord said, even if you come back with money, please, I don't want you. Please go.
Your landlord was also coming viral.
that appeared in 3. No. The 4 houses. The last one I was taken to police. Yes, I was taken to police because of rent issues. So that happened. The struggle that I went through, I can tell you, when you are going through situation in life, you may take it personal that you are struggling. But when that situation when that situation is over and God ushers you to a different chapter of life, that is when you'll see that surely God has been in my journey throughout. If you connect the dots, then you see that surely it was worth going through that. Because it was through that probably some people had to live your life. It was through that probably you have to develop a different skill. It was through that you literally need to shed the laziness and begin to take life heads on. Okay. So I've learned from my personal experiences that when you are going through stuff and you're trusting in God and you're in right tune with God, God is doing something. Just give him time.
All right. And when you talk about transformation.
Yes.
and there are people you talk to in
Yes.
corporate spaces, in learning institutions.
Yes.
What do you assess as the value of the spiritual component in aiding transformation? Because sometimes there are people who don't take their faith seriously. No, but do you see as if there's a connection between a spiritual deposit, a belief in God, and an acceleration of transformation?
Yes. Okay. First of all, because of the nature of what I do, I interact with people of all walks. Not necessarily Christian. Only I interact with people. I inspire people who don't even believe in God. But they inspire. Now, what happens is this. The kind of job I do is God's work, straight. It is in ministry. You may not call the name God, the name Jesus, but you have called him many times. If someone takes what you are saying and applies what you are saying, then they're serving God, only that they're not mentioning the name. I get that.
Yes, I get that.
Now, this that I do is directly related to God. I have to have the root God, because if I don't have the fear of God, I cannot be in the field. In fact, people will just see. The first thing that will happen, you begin choosing the topics that you're speaking on. Yes, if you don't have the fear of God, because you cannot go do certain things, then you come and speak against them. Your confidence will be punctured. It will be too obvious. People will see it. You won't have that authority and the oomph to speak with audacity if you don't have the fear of God. But if you have the fear of God and you have the God's foundation, you don't fear anything because you are connected upstairs. So if the vertical is right, then the horizontal must comply.
So even if the persons you're speaking to
Yes.
may not have a spiritual light,
Yes.
you yourself are speaking
Exactly.
directly and expressly
Exactly.
from a spiritual inspiration.
Exactly.
Even though you don't mention God
Yes.
in that. That's interesting.
Yes.
And because you've been in different stages, I know that you're also familiar with comedy.
Yes.
There are some times when a comedian will go on stage and the crowd is waiting.
Yes.
But 10, 15 minutes later, there was no laughter really.
Yes.
And time is up
Time is
for the comedian. And
Yes.
I don't know what they feel when they go backstage, because everything backfired. Now here you are a transformational speaker as
Yes,
well.
yes.
You enter an environment of people who know that a transformational speaker is coming.
yes.
And I do believe that you don't have the oomph every time.
It
Are there
happens.
some times when you have entered a space and wondered whether anything happened?
There are times you go there and you just discover you're just speaking grammar, nothing else. Yes, there are places that you cannot perform at your peak every time. A time will come that I've not delivered.
Okay.
And sometimes you can over-prepare. And today I'm going to nail it. Then you just discover.
This is the day.
This is the day.
This is my viral moment.
This is my viral moment. This one, in fact, even to the videos that we do, the one that this one has to go global. Discovered it just lingering around. It does not going anywhere. But the one that we just
It's
did,
hitting the immediate wall.
Yes, no,
it's not leaving your house.
take it for example, my video, the video of anger. I didn't even write my name because I knew this one is not going anywhere. I didn't know anything. But the one that you just throw yourself, you discover. That's what God does such kind of things to tell you, my friend, this is not yours. Someone else is controlling this thing. So you can prepare your best, and your best is my worst. So relax.
But either way, the best thing is prepare yourself for the very best, so that if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, you did your very best as well.
Preparation is an LCM. Yes, that one is constant.
Yeah.
The numerator can be varied, but preparation is, because if you're not prepared, then you realize that you keep recycling the same message everywhere you go to. So in other words, you cannot be invited at the same place twice.
Okay.
You go once, you have expired because they have known you left, right, center.
Yeah.
So to us, learning is a continuous process. You learn daily so that you can be relevant daily.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
We would want to, in the other part of this program,
Yes.
talk about specific things, because you have this gift of making things look different.
Yes.
Or giving different reads to a circumstance.
Yes.
It's very transformational.
Yes.
And we want to talk about anger, how you can be able to understand anger in a different way.
Yes.
About forgiveness. We want to learn about that. so that our viewers also get to hear
Yes.
what your perspectives.
Yes.
But just before you go for the break,
Yes.
I know that you've talked about your anger
Yes.
video going viral in Qatar,
Yes.
going viral in West Africa
Yes,
and all
yes,
that. And,
yes.
But right now, where can one find your content?
Yes, my content is flooded all over social media. I mean, when you go to Facebook, you look for Kelly Inspiration. You see my content. In fact, there's one I did that is clicking 3-point-something million only a few days ago.
Okay. I like clicking. Yeah, but I hope that today as it clicks 3 million, I pray that today you have some food on your table.
Oh, no, God delivered me.
Oh, okay.
God delivered me.
I hope that you're not 6 millioning,
No,
6
no,
millioning,
no,
and then you are still,
no.
not having.
For me to
some
have the
relief.
confidence
Yeah.
to talk about it, it means God has helped me.
Okay.
And if I talked about it when I'm still in that situation, that would be begging.
Okay. So God has been good to you.
God has been
so
good
we
to
want
me,
to
sir.
hear now some very specific things, your perspectives on these particular things, issues that people struggle with.
Yes.
When we come back
Yes.
after this break.
Thank you, sir.
Viewer, we are talking to Kelly Odongo, who is a transformational speaker, and he's just told us his story and how he got here. And in the next part of the program, we'll be talking about specific things, and he'll be sharing with us his perspectives that would also inform the way you see things. And yeah, prepare yourself to be transformed. Taking a short break, we'll be right back.
This week on Testify.
Ancestor worship, you also worship to the traditional, some of the, they call it the heavenly God. Yeah,
This week on Testify.
ancestor worship, you also worship to the traditional, some of the, they call it the heavenly God. Yeah, So I remember in my family home growing up, we have little altar in the
1 Thessalonians chapter number 5, verse 17. Pray without ceasing, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus concerning you.
On Watch and Pray, we pray for you and with you regarding your prayer requests, our nation and the whole world.
There's this one who is saying there's a marriage separation in marriage, but let's pray for the babies and then restore also. Father God Almighty.
Join Mama Eda Adoyo on Watch and Pray every Monday from 7:30 p.m. live on Hope TV, where you look and live.
This week on Testify.
ancestor worship, you also worship to the traditional, some of the, they call it the heavenly God. Yeah, So I remember in my family home growing up, we have little altar in front of the house and also at the back of the house.
Chinese worldview. So it's about ethics. It's about it's about laboring or working hard to live lives that demonstrates good ethics.
Only on Hope TV. Look and live.
Viewer, welcome back. This is Spotlight, and we are talking to Ezekiel Kelly Odongo, who is a transformational speaker, shedding to us a lot of light in terms of some things in life that we just tweak our understanding, and the way we deal will be absolutely different. He's shared with us his story, and now we come to some of the things that you actually are famous for.
Yes.
And are viral for,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And I'm really intrigued also by the fact that you went viral before you made any money.
Yes,
You know,
very
you can go viral and be poor.
Yeah, of
You know,
course.
sometimes you associate, 6 million views with 6 million shillings.
Kenyan
You know,
shillings, yes, yeah.
but that's a very interesting
Yes.
perspective, and also the way you understood it as God led.
Yes.
That God was still preparing
Yes.
for you to see, preparing you to see where you belong.
Yes.
But you aren't quite there yet. The
Exactly.
preparation process.
Yes.
Now, you give perspectives about anger.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
You see, anger is a very destructive emotion because anger, you can build for many years and break it in one day because of anger. And anger, everyone gets angry. You cannot outgrow anger. You can't say, I'm too old to get angry. Everyone gets angry. And getting angry, even the Bible recognizes that is not sin. But what you do with it is the problem. So the challenge, you cannot say that I have overcome anger and I cannot get angry. You get angry. It's natural. But now what you do with that emotion is what happens. How long you stay angry and what you do under that emotion, that is what brings the difference. And that is why we here, now and again, help people to overcome anger, overcome the consequent things that happen with anger.
You know, just as you tell us about
Yes.
anger, it's just interesting that some people hold anger as an asset.
Yes, yes.
They say, I get very angry.
Yes.
They are happy to be angry.
Yes.
It's a liability, as you say, but
Yes.
to them, it's like a missile. It's
Yes.
an arsenal they have,
Yes, yes.
and they keep to themselves. But again, anger.
And such a person is rendered to remain angry for life because you cannot change what you keep justifying. Now, so what happens is that anger is actually a punishment you give yourself for someone else's reaction. You do something, I can't make you angry. I will do something and you choose to react with anger. I agree with that. And there's the same thing that I do to you and that makes you boil. Someone else will look at it differently and they continue their own life. So the same reaction, people pick it differently based on their knowledge of controlling anger. And you see, anger is eating people inside. And a lot of chronic diseases have been caused by this emotion. You see, right now on my page, I'm doing a series that is called Wisdom from the Animal Kingdom, where I study animal behaviors and derive life lessons out of them. And one of the research I did, I discovered that lions don't live very long. Lions, the female lioness actually lives for at most 16 years, while the male lion, the lion lives for like 10 years. And so I was comparing the same with the tortoise. And I discovered that tortoise can be a Methuselah. Tortoise can live very long. There's a tortoise in Zimbabwe right now that is in the tune of 300 years of age. Are you getting that?
It stopped counting.
Yeah, of course, people stopped counting because those who are counting right now were told.
They were told.
Yes.
So it could even be more.
He's older than everyone globally. Now, what happens is that lion, the way it behaves, lion protects its territory with aggression by roaring, meaning it's angry in most cases. Angry is always angry and rolling. And as you are roaring like that, you are sending your hormones, caused by anger that are eating you gradually, and you end up shortening your lifespan because of anger. You look at tortoise. You provoke it. The first thing it will do is to put in the neck inside the shell. It's working with this house. Then the legs will follow, and it will now look like a stone. So if you like, carry it. That will be free transport to wherever you want. And you put it there, it will first of all sense the atmosphere. If there is someone around, if it detects that everywhere is serene, is cool, then remove the head and check around. If everything is okay, remove the legs and continue walking. If you come again, meaning it is not confrontational in any way. People who are always angry and confront everything manufacture diseases for themselves and they don't live long. I'm not trying to say that to be a tortoise for the rest of your life, no. But there are situations that may require that you bring out the lionic aspect of you to solve the situation, but get back. And don't always confront everything. There are things that don't deserve your attention, for God's sake. If you keep attacking everything and you keep using anger as your weapon, as your arsenal, what you don't know is that you're harboring the factory of diseases.
And you see also, when you talk about even the fruit of the Holy Spirit,
Yes.
You find that the fruit of the Holy Spirit is a lot of opposite of anger.
Yes.
Things that come in the absence of anger.
Exactly.
Things like patience.
Of course.
Things like joy.
Yes.
Things like long suffering.
Yes.
You know, all those, and I'm just linking that up, that anger itself,
Yes.
as an emotion,
Yes.
I mean, if you reverse that, if you reverse
Yes.
anger and what it brings along,
Yes.
it's very clear that you're actually shortening your life.
Of course.
Because you're shortening your joy,
Yes.
you know, you're shortening your tolerance,
Long
you're shortening so many things.
Yes.
And in that way, you also shorten your life.
Exactly.
And I like the image of the tortoise
Yes.
and the lion. I mean, everyone admires a lion.
Yes.
But you're saying, you could like the roar,
Yes.
but look at how long
Apply
it
it
lives.
where applicable.
Tell us about the Coca-Cola. Yeah.
So
image.
that one, I now use that to now teach people how to control anger. You see, all of us are familiar with Coca-Cola. In fact, you go to the deepest of village, you find Coca-Cola there, and there's no advertising, there's no you just so everyone knows how Coca-Cola behaves. If you shake 2 bottles of Coca-Cola, not even Coca-Cola, whichever soda, it is because they are, they are preserved with the carbon dioxide. So you shake the bottle seriously, then you open one immediately. You discover that the one that you open immediately will erupt like a volcano. And if you have a nice place like this where we have a very nice carpet, it will mess up the place. Are you getting that? Why? Because you opened it immediately. Now, the other one, if you let it cool for a while, when you open it, nothing will happen. Why? Because you didn't open, you let it cool down. The same thing happens when, shaking can be associated, can be linked to getting angry. When you are that angry and you are boiling and the rest, at that time, if you act immediately, or if you act, you may find your hands leaving your sides and connecting with someone's cheeks, going back and connecting with that person again, and you say you beat that person, and you say, I was very innocent, just anger that did it on my behalf. Or you can end up unleashing certain words that you never intended, and you can mess up the situation big time. Why? Because you acted immediately. When you pour down soda, there is no science that can bring that soda back to the bottle. Once it's gone, it's gone. And there are words you speak, and even if you go to apologize and say, what's happening, I'm very sorry, please just forgive me, I'm very sorry. Yes, I will forgive you, but I will not forget the statements that you've told me. The moment you speak a word, it's like a chemical reaction that that's not reversible. That's the end of it. And so some people, I remember the way you told me I'm an idiot. Even though I've forgiven you, but I remember I am an idiot in my own eyes.
When you talk about language and speaking,
Yes.
Without mentioning names, right now in our leadership,
Yes.
political leadership,
Yes.
there's a lot of disquiet about one of the cabinet secretaries
Yes.
who speaks in a way that one wonders, where did that come from? Would you liken that now to the opening immediate, or?
And now, of course, I know the leader you're talking about. And with this leader, it talks like that, whether he's angry or not. I think that has become, it's just very careless, that's unfortunately. But I don't know, but something should be done, because it reminds me of certain words he spoke some time back that was so deep and so quite concerned. I think it's just something. He talks like that whether he's angry or not. So I can't associate that with anger.
Okay.
Yes, but of course, this one that he spoke recently was associated with anger that was not controlled. So you see, these people struggle with these things.
Yeah.
And so the best way to control anger is to postpone your action. You may even need to leave that place and go somewhere else, relax, and come back later, so that you handle the situation when you are sober. With that, you discover that you'll be in charge of your faculty, and you'll not spit words from every corner of your mouth.
What you're talking about now, Ezekiel,
Yes.
is emotional intelligence.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
That there's need to connect between what emotion is right now.
Exactly.
This is what I feel,
Yes.
like I'm the boiling Coke,
Yes. Yes.
But I want to get to a place where I'm more the quiet,
Yes.
the stilled Coke.
Yes.
Emotional intelligence.
Yes.
And before we talk about forgiveness,
Yes.
you can tell us a little bit about how one builds the emotional intelligence.
You see, emotional intelligence is actually built over time. It's something you practice. And you can make up your mind that from today henceforth, I want to control my anger. Once in a while, you'll still backslide. and shout and scatter the place. Don't lose hope. Keep doing it. It's a matter of time. You see, I used to suffer. I used to have anger problem before. And it took me time to really control it to the point that I hold the situation and I'm very sober whatever, no matter what's happening. When I was in high school, I used to be the head boy. I was a head boy for 2 years. And I remember this day I was addressing students at the assembly, and there was this gentleman that was also holding his personal meeting somewhere in one corner. Then I warned him twice, and he didn't heed. He kept on talking. So I remember anger took over, and I gave him some high five on his cheeks at some considerable force, something that you may call a slap. And the next thing I saw was blood all over his chest. From that day, I made up my mind. Enough is enough. I will never lay hands on anyone. And that really changed my perspective, and I started fighting anger. And thank God, by the grace of God, it is fightable. And you also involve the Holy Spirit as you're fighting anger. You pray. Now, what happens is this. Sometimes when you're angry and you're boiling and something's wrong, just pray. Tell God, God, right now as I'm speaking, I am very angry. And I feel like doing this. State exactly what you want to do that time. God help me, you will not do it. Even that helps a lot. Even when it comes to temptation, or there is temptation of sexual temptation. They say, Father, right now I'm in the high voltage of temptation, and in the next few minutes I'm likely to misbehave because the arrangements of misbehavior are already in place. So if you don't help me right now, God, help me so that I do. In Jesus' name, I pray. You will not do it. Yes. So anger, control of anger is something that it's a journey that you walk with the time, and you don't lose hope on yourself.
You know, what I'm getting also is that your spirituality
Yes.
can be very helpful for you
Yes.
in terms of building your emotional intelligence.
Very, very.
Because because what will make you stop, you don't just stop, but you
Yes.
stop powerfully, because
Exactly.
it's a halting
Yes.
that is also a prayer.
Exactly.
So you're not just stopping your mind, you're not just stopping yourself, you're stopping and calling out to God. And I think that's very important, just what you're highlighting here, that that in prayer, in that short moment, you remember God, and that builds you. You know, it becomes the bricks of your growth emotionally.
You see, if you study the book of Daniel, you see Daniel inside fire, and they sing the fourth person, and they sing, this must be the Son of God, and the fire did not consume them. How get that? So the fire did not consume them, and we believe it was because of the Son of God that was inside the fire. Are you getting that? Now, what happens is this. On the opposite, sometimes when you see serious contention, when you see serious, the atmosphere is charged, there is anger, people are boiling, there is fight, dirty words and the rest, there's a fourth person who is the devil there. And is conducting the choir. Please say idiot, please shout, yes, exactly. So there is a spirit that is there. There's a fourth person, fourth spirit, which is the devil. If you rebuke the devil in that atmosphere, things will change.
All right.
Got
a perspective there. Now, let's go now to forgiveness.
Yes.
And sometimes forgiveness, people hold it as that, is a card they hold to themselves.
Yes.
They want to say, I'll not forgive.
Yes.
So that they keep you on a leash.
Exactly.
And that really become their slave.
Yes.
And they tend to always remind you of the wrong that you've done, of the awful person you are, because they don't want to give forgiveness. They again utilize unforgiveness as a form of asset. They don't want to let go.
You see, people use forgiveness to massage their ego, that, I can't talk to him. What he did for me, I can't talk. And you pass just like that. What you don't know is that there is no amount of unforgiveness, or there is no amount of bitterness in you that can punish the other person. Are you getting that? And like someone wisely said, that unforgiveness or bitterness is like taking poison and you're expecting the other person to die on your behalf. Are you getting that? So what you're thinking is that being angry or not forgiving that person is punishing that person, not knowing that you're actually punishing yourself. And some of the people you are bitter with do not even know you are bitter. And they're moving on with their life and doing well while you're consuming yourself with bitterness. So forgiveness is setting a prisoner free and later discovering that you are the prisoner actually. I'm getting that. So I taught on forgiveness using an analogy where a lady was walking in front of me wearing slippers. Then I stepped on her slippers and stopped her from walking. So in such a situation, I could blot myself, balloon myself, and say, I have stopped her from walking. She cannot go anywhere. I'm the one in charge here. But what I'm forgetting is that she's not walking because I've stopped her. I've stopped her, and I'm also not going anywhere. I have to stay there to watch her standing there. I'm getting that. So if I want to release myself and go, then I have to stop her so that she can also go. I'm getting that.
That's a very interesting analogy.
So what happens is that the people, many people are held up in life stagnant simply because of the people that they're holding inside their heart. It could be that these people really wronged you, but for the sake of your own prosperity, for the sake of you moving forward with life, you'd rather let them go so that you can move forward with the life. Why would you lock your life with them thinking you're punishing them while your life is also there? You see, where I live, there's a time, where I lived before, I moved. See, but the case of...
Oh, yeah, with the viral thing going on. There'll be movement. It's okay. It's okay, Kelly. It's fine.
So, there was a time, I spent a lot of time in the house, by the way. Unless I'm going out on a specific thing, I don't like just moving anyhow. So, there was this day I was in the house, and my neighbor bought a car for the wife. So, the wife was having the car for the very first time. And so, she wanted to leave, to go out, and she was still struggling with the driving. So, I was hearing the hooting sound. So when I checked through the window, I was trying to compare this to the hooting and the movement, and they were not congruent.
The raving.
The raving was, they were not congruent with the movement. And then I discovered that something is amiss. So I went and asked her, what's happening? They said, I'm struggling to move this car. It's not moving. I don't know what's the problem. So it was obvious that she was driving with the handbrake up. So I told her, okay, fine, just come out, let me move it for you. So the only thing I did was to lower the handbrake and I reversed for her. So you discover that this is a brand new car that was just brought from Mombasa. It is mechanically sound, the fuel is there, but the only problem is that she was driving with the handbrake up. Many times we go through challenges in life. Many times you ask yourself, what is it that I'm not doing right? Many times you check yourself, what is that? What is wrong with me? And everything is all right. You're brand new from the showroom. Everything is all right. Nothing is wrong with you. The only challenge is that you're driving your life with the handbrake off. There are people you are holding that you've refused to let go so that you can move on with your life. That is the danger of forgiveness.
Wow,
and forgiveness can hold you hostage. And sometimes people even inherit bitterness. Because this person was the enemy of my parents, I need to inherit this bitterness and continue. We, from this family, we don't talk with you. And so you inherit, that is the same thing happened in Kenya. People have inherited tribal clashes, tribal enmity. Your four grandfathers that died long time ago had a challenge with a different tribe. They carried it over and you took it like medical prescription and applying it the way it is. So you also don't like those people. While where I stay from this person. If something happens to me, the first person I will call is this immediate neighbor, not my brother in the village. So if people can stop that and just let go, forgiveness, and we move on with life, life can be very beautiful.
I'm just thinking about how unforgiveness just also steals joy. But as you talk, there's also a sense of humor to this. And I'm thinking a person who is bitter is unlikely to respond to, some humoring things in life.
Of course.
Maybe you can also tell us, just the place of humor in everyday life, so that you are not so caught up, you're not so handbrake up, as you say.
Yes.
That sometimes you just have to let a good laugh, and that has its own way of fixing your spirit?
You see, man of God, what happens in life is that vicissitudes of life, as I may call it, come unannounced.
I'll not say I don't know the meaning of that word, but please go ahead.
These are challenges in life. I'll get to that. Problems don't announce their calling, their coming. Problems will always invite themselves into your life. So choose to deliberately create some pleasure. Problems, challenges in life will schedule themselves. So deliberately schedule your own pleasure. It's very, very important. Okay, this life, there is no rehearsal. You don't have phase 2. This is the life you're living. This is the reality. I mean, we are on.
We are on the ground.
We are on the ground. We are not demonstrating so that we live somewhere else. How can that? So laughter is very profound. Because no matter how beautiful or handsome you are, if you're frowning, you have reduced that handsomeness or beauty with some percentage.
A significant one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but even if probably we may not say that beauty or handsomeness is in the eyes of the beholder, but if you think that you're beautifully challenged and you smile frequently, you discover that
People bypass.
People bypass. So, sometimes
Yeah.
find a reason to smile and laugh, even if just find something. Just please go.
Allow
go ahead,
yourself
do it,
to.
sir.
Yeah.
Love yourself. There is no one who can love yourself. There is no. If you don't love yourself, there is no way you can love someone else. It is impossible. So if you discover that you're clashing with people, you can't love people, you can't even give, it means you're not doing the same to yourself. Because if you're doing it to yourself, you know how it tastes. So you can give it to somebody else. Yes.
You know, and I'm just wondering, Kelly,
Yes.
this transformational speaking,
Yes.
I know that you go into spaces, you
Yes.
go to platforms, you speak to people.
Yes.
Do testimonies come back?
I
mean, and say that when you spoke, some real tangible results happened to my marriage, my workplace, my identity, practical testimonies.
I can't really. Because I wish I could just give you my phone for 30 minutes to go to the email side, to go to the WhatsApp, and to go to the Facebook page. When I did the video on anger, a lot of people told me I was on my way to kill someone. When I watched my video and I had to drop the gun down. Many, not once, not two. There are people that were saved. There are people who are living right now because someone watched the video on anger and stopped the mission to kill someone. People called me when they were in family gathering to thank me on audio that, out of your video on forgiveness, the family has finally come back and we thank you so much for what you have done. I mean, even today, every day, people tell me that. People tell me that, and that is what has kept me going and has told me that surely God is using me to transform lives.
Amazing.
Yes, sir.
Wow, I mean, that's interesting that out of this talk
Yes,
comes a real impact.
exactly.
And I want you to, again, just look back to what is in your talk. Because there are many people who speak, but they just speak.
Yes.
But they sound nice, but there are no results after. So what would you say is packed in your talk that leads to the testimonies?
What I do is that I consider myself a shell. And without God filling me, I am just a shell. And every time before I speak, or even sometimes before I record my videos, I tell myself, Father, use me, use these lips. I have donated myself to you. I'm getting that. And so sometimes when people are mesmerized, they tell me all kinds of things. I know my source. I tell them, my source is, this thing belongs to someone else. Why do I say so? Yes, I do my part to study. Yes, I do my part to practice. Yes, I do my part to do all that I can. But sometimes I go to speak and words that I didn't prepare will come out. And it's so powerful, I know this one is not mine. There's a spirit behind it. You see, Beyonce said, Beyonce, the secular musician, that sometimes when I go to perform on stage, not sometimes, when I go to perform on stage, it's not me that performs. Then she mentioned a spirit that comes in her that performs, that people are so mesmerized, but she is not the one performing. A demonic spirit. She said, it's not something, you can Google and find it. I've got that. And so the same thing applies to the men of God. Sometimes as you see them speaking in front there, there's a spirit that is speaking on their behalf that is using that shell, the body that they have. So I always say, Father, let me reduce as you increase. Use this body, use this one here to deliver. I have submitted myself to thee in this aspect. Use me to transform lives.
All right.
That is it, sir.
Amazing
Yes, sir.
that you are a tool
Yes.
that the Spirit of God gets into you and does the work of transformation.
When
Now-
you know that, you cannot be proud because you know it is not you.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Great. Now tell us a little bit about your books.
I have written 3 books. My first book, which people love a lot, is called Seeing Beyond the Obvious. I talked about attitude and character on a very fantastic name, and I was very bold to mention God in that book. My second book is this one, that one you are holding. That's The Cost of Becoming. Now, The Cost of Becoming was built. I majorly did it to build resilience when you're pursuing something, so that nothing brings you down. It has the tools that will bring someone that no matter what you're pursuing, please move on. Yes, with very practical, it's actually a book that is meant to overcome obstacles and challenges.
Okay.
And the first chapter I'm talking about, when you don't have a car and you're just trekking on the road, there's no police that will stop you. How can that? But the day you buy a car, even if you're not on the wrong, you'll interact with policemen somehow. If you're doing nothing with life, no one will pursue you. But the day you begin to do something important with your life, that is when challenges will begin arising.
All right.
Are you getting that?
Good.
Anointing, oil attracts flies. The same way, the moment you begin creating impact, that impact will begin to attract enemies. So if you fear policemen, then you don't need to drive, you don't need to buy a car. Trek for the rest of your life. So some people are too careful to succeed in life because they fear annoying people. The thing is this: either I please you and displease myself, or so long as I know I'm doing the right thing. If me doing the right thing is displeasing you, I'm on the right track. So that's about this book. Then the third book is titled Wisdom from the African Proverbs. You see, African Proverbs has a lot of wisdom. So I decided to choose some very unique African Proverbs, 100 of them, and derived and common lesson out of them. Can I give you one? Yes. You see, there's this proverb that says, the fact that the water is calm does not mean there's no crocodile under it.
Okay.
Yes. That the water is calm does not mean a crocodile is not under it. Now, that talks about soft-looking people. Someone can be very soft, with very good soft demeanor. Don't take advantage of that person thinking that they don't have, that they cannot react when you overwhelm them.
That book sounds very interesting.
It's very, and I'm launching it next month, on 15th of next month, at Ufungamano House.
All right.
I'm gathering a lot of people, and I welcome so many people. Please come as we launch that book.
All
It's a
right.
very powerful book.
The fact that the water is still
Does not
does not mean there's no crocodile
under it.
under it.
Yes.
Wow. Point to ponder there.
Yes.
That the fact that the water is still
Yes.
doesn't mean that there's no crocodile
Yes.
under it.
Yes.
Now, a very, very inspiring conversation here with Kelly Odongo Ezekiel. And one thing that comes out strongly, viewer, is that whatever you hold, a negative thing that you hold, a liability that you hold, it's time for you to begin to just let go. Because it's when you begin to let go that you begin to experience new horizons, new spaces that you can never experience if you're still holding on to a negative thing. Viewer, you are transformable. This has been Spotlight. Thank you for watching.